Oh, what's going on, everybody? We are back. Happy New Year. Yeah, it's been a minute. We back. You see it. You see my guy Eru in the building. What's good, Eru? I like that world peace hat with the Knicks colors. Nice.
Yeah, I've been wearing it every year. This is actually a hat that Metal World Peace put out when he first changed his name. Yeah, he has his like little logo on the back and stuff too. But I've been wearing it every year for New Year's, man. So
nice. Hopefully your holidays went well, my brother.
You know, it could go, I mean, family is family, you know what I'm saying? You can't choose your family and stuff like that, but everything was good, but there's a lot of issues in the family, man. So, when everybody's together, it all comes out just like everything else, just like the movies.
Oh, I know how it is, brother. Believe me. I had a little family over here too, man. And, we got through it. We did the best we could, and it was a decent time.
Yeah.
Holidays is always tricky, though.
Yeah, I hit the coquito though. I made some, but I was like rationing it because I didn't want anybody to start moving furniture or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's smart, brother. That's smart. I ain't mad at you. I get it.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. Happy New Year once again to all of y'all. Shout out to the chat. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the building. What's good? Mega NYK in the building. What's good? Julu Caesar in the building. Salute. Eru is a beast. I love it. You gotta love it. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for being here and rocking. And it's always a pleasure when I get to chop it up with my guy Eru, man. Please also support Die Hard Knicks if you haven't already, man. Please support Die Hard Knicks podcast. So guys, this is the first of a little, the new show for the new year. It's a little bit of a twist. We're doing things a little bit differently. Hopefully, trying things out. Hopefully it works out for everybody and the format just makes more sense. So the first half of this show is now going to be, we're going to cover the NBA. It's still going to be the NBA wrap up, but we're going to cover the NBA on Nothing But Knicks, right? And then for the second half of the show, when we get into the hip hop, we're going to send you over to the Front Stoop, Sim's other channel. I hope you guys are already familiar with the Front Stoop. It's a popping channel. Almost 40,000 subscribers over there. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. But yeah, so first half of the show, NBK on Nothing But Knicks. Second half of the show, the hip hop portion will be on the Front Stoop. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the Front Stoop. All right. With that being said, now this is the NBA, and I want to we try to talk about other teams outside of the Knicks because all we do is talk about the Knicks. But I will take a minute to just acknowledge that there was an NBA trade and the Knicks were involved, and we're talking about OG Anunoby going to the Knicks along with Precious Achiuwa and Mr. Malachi Flynn for R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. So now that as a couple days have gone by, I figured we just get a quick take on what we think about the trade and how both teams are looking since it went down. Eru, what's your thoughts, brother?
My thoughts is begins with the initial reaction once I heard it, because I had just finished, shout out to State, shout out to some of the other guys on Twitter too. I just finished arguing with a bunch of those guys about RJ still, about the potential. Why are you going to trade RJ? You need to get rid of Julius, all this other stuff. But then like around midday, after I finished
Mhm.
giving the kids showers and stuff, he was getting ready to do the next part of our day. Then bam, the trade hit. So I got an overwhelming feeling of like relief. It's like it's very weird. It's not like I was like, oh man, they traded him for only, that didn't even come to my head yet. The first thing I got was relief. I don't have to argue about RJ Barrett or Emmanuel quickly ever again. They're on a different team now. So I'm not thinking about how well IQ is going to do on that team or how good RJ is going to do, or like maybe we could have gotten more for those two players. I'm not even thinking about that. I would just it's just a sense of relief, man. That's my initial thoughts with it.
Mm. Mm. Okay. And so now that you've had a chance to actually, whatever, check out a box score or see some of the guys play, what do you think well, let's start with the just the feeling about the Toronto portion of it. Because we have more to go on with the Knicks because we're actually watching it.
Yeah.
What's the thoughts on just how IQ and RJ look in Toronto and how that's working out for them over there?
Well, I actually did like a partial watch along. I watched like maybe like the first couple minutes of that Toronto game. So just
Mhm.
just watching them, I just was curious to see how their energy would be. So I mean, both of their energies were up. The guys were like, especially IQ, IQ and RJ, both of their energies was up. So I thought that was good. To see how they interacted, how they played. IQ, this is a perfect opportunity for IQ. So that's all good karma. I believe in that. I think the Knicks organization believes in it too. I think Phil Jackson, when he traded Shumpert and J.R. Smith, traded them to Cleveland and basically gave them a championship with those two guys. That was their new starting backcourt. So
Mm.
now the Knicks doing the same thing. Hopefully that good energy comes back. Because not for nothing, I think it did come back for letting those guys get off. I think that helped the Knicks out because look at where the Knicks are now. The Knicks are starting to reap the benefits of some of the stuff that we did. The good fortune that we did earlier on.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
yes, sir.
I
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Yes, so, I
Um,
mean, quickly he's over there, he's playing pretty good. The last game that he had, I think he had like 26 points or whatever, so that's good for him, you know?
yeah, and RJ hasn't been too bad. He's been right around RJ numbers for what he was doing towards the last couple games over here with the Knicks. Although the first game with them, he did have 19-9, which is a good look for them. I expect RJ and Quickly both to do really well over in Toronto. I think Quickly might do better because I think the starter minutes are just going to be more beneficial to him. RJ's been a starter, so he's been getting those minutes. But I also think RJ's game is going to get better too. I think it's going to be an uptick over there. I think initially he's going to get appreciated just because of being the hometown kid, and I think that's going to fuel him and give him a little extra fire to go out there and really perform well. And I mean, anyway, I just feel like he does well when he plays for Canada in the FIBA games and USA and all that stuff. I mean, in the Olympics, he just seems to like playing, for his country. So I expect him to do better. I expect there's going to be some Knick fans that are going to be like, "Oh man, I don't know why we traded RJ." That's going to happen. And I know it's going to happen with IQ because I actually think IQ is going to get really busy over there. But yeah, I think it's a good trade for them, and I wish them nothing but the best.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. One thing I'm gonna say, I wanna nip in the bud right away is that, oh, the Knicks always trade somebody and they do better on another team. That's I mean, if you look at history, I think there's only like we talked about it plenty of times. There's only like a handful of guys that may have had a better career once they left, but it's not, like say like people will go to David Lee, but David Lee was an all-star with the Knicks, so other guys too, you want to say Rod Strickland, of course, and some other guys too you can mention, but people say every single trade somebody always does better. That's not the case. There's only like maybe like a handful of guys throughout the history of the Knicks that's ever
right,
happened.
right.
You know?
And you can't get too crazy with this stuff because I know there's like I said, there's going to be some Nick fans that are really second guessing and upset that the trade went the way it went. But the other side of it is you already know that the Knicks were not going to re-sign IQ. The price
Right.
they felt was going to be too high. His value is getting bigger and better. And he's going to really command a good salary. So they just didn't feel they were going to give it to him. But some of you might say, well, the Knicks could have afforded to give him the money and took the money from elsewhere. But if IQ wants to start, this is the real question you got to ask yourself as a Knicks fan. Who would you rather? And be careful what you answer out there. Who would you rather have, Emmanuel Quickly or Jalen Brunson? I don't think you need to really think about it because that's what it comes down to. IQ wants to be the Jalen Brunson role. We got Jalen Brunson. Think we are good with what we got. That's all I'm saying. So that's just life, man. It's the NBA.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah, I'll double down on that. Just watching him play in Toronto, he just needed the space, man. He
Yeah.
needs the space to get busy, start the game, and just let his play dictate what the team is going to do. So I mean, that's not going to happen with us, right? Now he's coming off the with the Knicks, he was coming off the bench. It just wasn't working. We had too many guards to begin with, though. So we really needed to solidify that small forward spot. I think DiVincenzo's playing well. So now with that, we can lay the chips on the table, and then now the Knicks can make a conscious decision on how we can continue to prove the club with the rest of the chips we got. So I think we're good money, man. Mhm.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say about the IQ portion of it is, I always thought when he was with the Knicks that IQ was in the wrong role. I didn't really think he was the point guard facilitator type. I thought he would be better as a shooting guard type. But it's a weird thing with IQ because I feel like his game is Trey Young, right? But he's not a facilitator. He don't have that same court vision or the same type of skill that a Trey Young has when it comes to passing the ball.
Right.
But the rest of his game is Trey Young like. I feel like IQ actually needs to be the point guard on a team, a starting team. So he needs to have the ball in his hands so either he can pass it or make his moves and do things that way. I thought he might be better at the shooting guard, but now I'm starting to think that maybe that's not his game. So, once again, going back to could you put him at I see somebody, East Blue Drew said, IQ could be in the Dante's. I don't even know if that would have worked well, like the best for his game. I really think he needs to be in that one spot and be able to have the ball and do what he wants to do out there and go from there. But that's my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Nah, I totally agree with you here with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that aside, there's the other side of the trade. And me personally, look, I might be in the minority. There was at one point when the OG rumors started 2 years ago, a lot of Knicks fans were like, yes, man, OG Anunoby, let's get him. Everybody wanted him. And then a little time went by and people started to look at OG, and sometimes he had some bad games with Toronto. Then they was thinking about his injury history and they're like, I don't know. And then Donovan Mitchell's name got thrown out there. And then it was like, forget OG. But me, I'm a happy camper because I always wanted OG. I wanted OG actually and Donovan. Now, there's a chance that still could happen. It's very
Yeah.
slim. I don't know, but we'll see. But just having him over here and watching how he plays with the Knicks and the fact that we've got that defensive wing guy, the 6'8" or higher, taller guy that we've been asking for, and he's finally here. I couldn't be happier, bro. I don't know what your thoughts about OG.
Yeah, I love it, man. I got a chance to scout him. I do the watching alongs on my channel. So I
Yes.
was trying to scout him. So when he played with the Knicks, he actually had a big game. One day, I think he scored like on like maybe like 30 something. I forgot how much he scored. But just watching him, one of the games he
Mhm.
didn't really look too good. He looks kind of like shaky, whatever. But I mean, just you're looking at it from a standpoint where I got pride in my Knicks, and I'm not really paying attention to a guy because he's not really on my team, even though I'm
Right.
talking about him. But after making the trade, watching him, there's a couple things that he does that RJ could never do. Just the way that he runs up the court. That's number one.
Mhm.
RJ runs like he has like hip problems or like something. He just runs like he just started walking. RJ.
Mhm.
I don't like the way he gets off the ground. When he tries to get those dunks going, I think he's straining too much. He just. That's one thing that I think RJ's just doing too much. He does too much out there. Just OG. He does everything smooth. Nothing. He doesn't do anything too much. There's no crazy crossovers, but he can get to the rim when he wants to. He can shoot it. One thing that's extremely impressive in my opinion is just his let's say shoulder strength and his
Mhm.
his leg strength. He's able
Right.
he keeps a wide stance. He's able to box guys out. You can't move him. And then when he's jumping for rebounds, his legs are wide. He keeps a wide stance. He can continue to jump. Also, the arm strength, with the shoulders and stuff, he was able to keep
Mhm.
this guy Rudy Gobert at bay. He couldn't even get past him. He just all he does. Oh, no, not Rudy Gobert. This guy Cat. Cat was trying to move him.
Oh, yeah,
But,
Cat. Okay.
yeah, but he had Cat just there with just one simple form, and Cat couldn't get around him. So that's incredible stuff there. That's what the Knicks need. If we keep talking about bully ball, Now we got a bully, another bully in here to enhance that. So I think we're good money with OG, man. Perfect fit for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, OG's great, man. I just think that he gives us been missing. And you know, and like you know, the to me it was just incredible. Like there was a there was a moment in last night's game where OG basically guarded two people and stop both of them from getting good shot opportunities in the same possession. And it's like, you know, there's just that ability that, you know, everything that he's got working for him. He's just so good at it. And I think I forgot there was another player I heard about it after the game, not in that game, the NBA player who was like, yeah, man, OG is the toughest guy that I go up against. I never want to go up against OG. He makes it really tough for me. So yeah, I mean, OG is just he's solid, man. He's solid. And I think that's gonna it not only is it going to make everybody else on the team's life better, it's going to help Julius, but it's also going to help these guards who we're still, I want to say that we're going to get better at guarding the perimeter three. Even though the last two games we still gave up around 40% from three for both teams.
Right.
I do think that number is going to start to go down as guys get more comfortable, as they start to understand what OG can do out there, where he's going on the court, and what they need to do to fill in. I think it'll get better.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. But one thing I love too is that and starting the season, they thought that Josh Hart was the backup power forward. That's that's it seems like that's what the Knicks were comfortable with, based off of what happened in the summer and all this other stuff with Josh Hart playing for the USA team. But I
Hmm.
mean, what makes Josh Hart so great is that he does that from his position. Him playing power forward and him guarding bigger guys, that's not going to work. So you need OG to do it to play his position. You need Julius to play his position. Ihart's playing well. You got Dante DiVincenzo. You got the guys are playing their position. So if guys are playing their position, once you put Josh Hart in there, now Josh Hart can do that stuff that you're not expecting somebody, at his position to do, which is rebound and crash the boards and that type of thing. So I think that's
Right.
very important. So, I'm anxious about the next move though, man. I know we're talking about this trade, but if we can make the right move for the next one, I think all bases will be covered with the Knicks, man. We're gonna be a tough out, big time, especially when the chemistry kicks in.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that like, and I just I don't know what to to expect, and I don't know what to think. I will tell you this. In my mind, I thought Donovan Mitchell would be a great piece for the Knicks to go after, right?
Yeah,
And then having OG here definitely helps us with defense. I think Hart plays good defense. If Grimes is still here, he plays decent defense. DiVincenzo plays decent defense. You know, good enough for us to get by. And then I mean, iHeart has been fantastic on defense.
yeah,
So I think that we would be okay with getting Donovan here. However, now all of a sudden, the more and more we've talked about it, this DeJounte Murray thing is seeming really interesting, bro. It's like I almost feel like he's the perfect piece for us. Like I think he has the right size to play the position. You know, he's interchangeable at the one, the two, or the three. He's got good defense. I'm not saying he's OG Anunoby type defense, but he's got good defense. Probably would I might say his defense might be better than DiVincenzo's. Um, but and then he's got the offensive game. He's got the facilitating game. Um, he even has the rebounding game, even though you don't see it as much now with Atlanta. When he was with San Antonio, he was a triple double. He was flirting with a triple double on many nights. So, like, I just think that piece might be even better for this team. Like that, like continues to help that defensive identity because, you know, someone even brought up the fact that maybe the Knicks should think about DeRozan, right? And I know we talked about DeRozan in the past, we as a trade
yeah.
possibility. But they had brought up getting DeRozan and Caruso. And I gotta tell you, if the Knicks were to go for DeRozan, that's probably the only way I really would want it to happen. If they could get DeRozan and Caruso, who's 6'5" with a good wingspan and great defense, because he played great defense last night
Yeah, he did.
against the Knicks.
Mhm.
Um, and we only really got busy when he was out the game. But if the Knicks can get a situation where they get a Caruso type defender with the OG defense, with the defense, the hustle of Hart and DiVincenzo, and what iHeart's been doing, and if possibly getting Mitch back for the play, I'm just saying, who knows? It's just like then that could be the key for the Knicks. That could be the one thing that the Knicks have that can stop all these offensive juggernauts like Milwaukee and like Boston. Because if we can hit them with defense that nobody else can play because we've got more horses now, that might be the way, bro.
Yeah, it changes the game too. This league is a copycat league too. So if the Knicks was to put something like that together, watch all of a sudden every other team is going to try to do the same thing. So that's my thing. You need to be a step ahead. I work for the city. Most guys know that, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of times with the city, that the city is counteractive. They wait till something happens and then they'll do something. Like if you're proactive and you're just worried about building the best team that you can build, with the style that you're choosing and just build the best team around that, then you're ahead of the game. So I think that the style of play, what I'm getting at is the style of play that the Knicks are building right now is something that no team in the league is really ready for. Everybody's too busy trying to get those three superstars and just fill in whoever else is in there, role players, and they don't care what happens. But the Knicks come in here with this concept, this could change the game, and I think that's better for fans and in general, just enjoying the game and stuff. But one thing about this kid Murray that that's troubling, is that when he left San Antonio, he had the nerve to diss Popovich. He was like kind of complaining about saying these guys they think they know it all and this, that, and the other. So it was kind of weird. So, you're worried about him being a knucklehead. He kind of I don't want to say glorifies, but he always talks about his past, locking up, but he's talking about it, as if it's something he's proud of, kind of thing. So
Right.
so I mean, but every team could use a guy like that. Like John Starks is one of those guys. Even some of the other great teams that had good defenders. Like you kind of need those rough around the edges kind of guys to really legitimize a team because those little things could kind of affect the team. It can affect it bad, but it also can affect it good. And I think this team with the Knicks, I think with all of our good great personalities and stuff, I think that our team can really hone in with what DeJounte brings, and maybe he can come back to the play like you mentioned in San Antonio, where he was getting those basically averaging a triple double and stuff, man. So yeah, it's interesting, man. Very, it's exciting, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about basketball, we're analyzing stuff. We're not just talking about, yeah, we get KD, we get Kyrie Irving, we get this guy, and we're not talking about nonsense. That's that sensational stuff. We're actually talking about how we can fit a guy in here and how his skill set can improve the team. And I think
Right.
I think that's refreshing, man. Just to talk basketball again.
Right. Uh yeah, man. I mean, it's a fun time to be a New York Knicks fan. I don't care what anybody says. You got to enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat once again. Appreciate you guys. Almighty Finesse, iStream Team Radio in the building. D Block, what's good? Keith Turner, what's good? Uh let's see here. Angel Torres is in the building. Salute. Josh is in the building. OG's the Salt and Pepper Gang. You see it.
Yeah.
King John 1985. What's good? East Blue Drew is in the building. Salute. HP Carlos Nation in the building. What's good? All the way from Portugal. What's good? Much love to you, brother. Much love. Happy New Year to you and yours out there. Annie Gaming Network is in the building. He said, "Man, y'all seen the Mitch Rob disrespect being given online? Benching Mitch for Hartenstein is so insane." There's going to be a lot going on right now, man. Look, we're in a situation where it's all about what have you done for me lately, and people forget quickly. No pun intended. Um,
I like
but don't worry. On Saturday's No to Ledge, I'm gonna break down this whole Mitchell Robinson Hartenstein thing, and hopefully people get a little bit more context and relax. But Hartenstein is playing incredible basketball, man. Really good basketball. It makes you kind of second guess the fact that Mitch is not here, and you're like, when Mitch was here, was he doing this? No. Oh, but when Mitch was here, he was doing this. Because I was looking at Mitch's numbers. I'm just saying, but I get it. Hartenstein looks lovely. And I will say it's a weird thing. They're both good defensively, but they're different. Like Mitch right now has changed his game defensively. He's more of an alterer Like he alters people's shots. He don't block shots, and he gets steals. He's handsy now. Hartenstein has become a block monster, bro. Like it's incredible his timing. So they're different, but they're both effective. And you kind of wonder, like, man, it almost makes you think, damn, what if we had both of them right now? But the weird thing is, like, they seem to not play with that same level of effectiveness unless they're both like whoever's starting is getting the nod, like the edge. That starting thing, those extra minutes makes a difference. But whatever, who knows? Because maybe now that OG's here, maybe both of them will look good either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's less that Mitch has to run around and cover for other people. So now he can focus in. Maybe he turns into a blockness monster. You never know.
Listen, I'm one of those disrespectful Mitch Robinson people,
I
man.
know.
Listen, I
I
mean,
hear you.
like it could get crazy. I know you're gonna do a whole thing about it, but I just want to say that when iHeart is there, iHeart is not chasing everybody. You know what I'm saying? When iHeart is playing, you don't hear about iHeart's got to chase this guy, chase that guy. So how
Mhm.
come when Mitch Robinson's there, that's the narrative everybody says, oh, Mitch Robinson got to cover for this guy because he can't play defense. But that's
I
not in the
don't know.
conversation when out there. Another thing too, iHeart passes the ball. iHeart gets steals too. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to talk about offensive rebounds, I mean, he had like what offensive on last night. He has seven
7.
offensive. Yeah, seven. And then I think he had like seven the other night too. So I mean, iHeart can offensive rebound also, but the
You
issue
making
with him is that
you
he
making
can
it
actually,
tough, Eru.
yeah, he
You
can actually
making it
pass
tough.
and do stuff too. So
I know.
anyway,
I
it's not
know.
it's not hate, but I mean, I think the role is different. I think Hartenstein basically stole that from because Mitch Robinson doesn't can't make free throws either. So if Mitch Robinson could come off the bench and just do the rebounding and block shots the way that he does it off the bench, I think now you're talking about something special. But automatically thinking that Mitch Robinson should get 30 something minutes per night, I don't think that's the way. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to
I
save
listen.
something for the weekend, right?
No, I mean, I can't. I can't. Because I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, and Knick fans to feel that way. I'm not saying even after Saturday, you may feel that way even more. All I'm gonna do is just compare the two for what they're doing and just take a closer look at them, and so we can get a better understanding of how they play. But
Right.
I will say that if you had to pick one from the two, that would be not favorable to Mitch. Like if I had to pick one and I gave them both the same amount of minutes, yeah, iHeart might get the nod. But all I'm saying is when we look at everything, it's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, it is. It is
It's a
very
lot
close.
closer than you think.
You know.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Wild stuff, bro. Wild stuff. Anyway, so like I said, guys, in a little bit, we want to head over to the front stoop and get into some hip hop talk. But we got a little rapid fire, get into some other stuff around the NBA because there's a lot going on. Um, and I just want to say shout out to my holy king. Salute to you, No Cap Life's analyst, Philip Ware, and shout out to Ani Gaming Network. Once again, man, appreciate you.
Mhm.
And also Donald Cannon is in the building. Uh, he said, "I'm just glad. Do y'all remember when we were teens winning team? We came a long way, and I'm proud of how it's going. Facts. Listen, we talked about this. I said it once. I noticed Josh Hart coming here last year, and the way the Knicks were playing, I was like, yeah, we're a good team now.
Yeah.
Point is, can we be great? Don't know, but we look like we're going in a better direction. At least we turned that defense stuff around because we were looking bad for a minute.
Yeah.
um, so guys, here's a question, and I don't know if this is even a question, but I'm gonna ask it. Is Tyrese Haliburton the next big star? Tyrese is out here getting busy, man. Tyrese is getting crazy with it. He is getting busy, man. We talking, I think he had 20 assists in one game, and then the next game against the Knicks, he had 23 assists. And then the next game after that, he had like 14 assists and 31 points. Like he listen, I know a lot of people, this whole thing is going to go back and forth with the whole Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, who's better. I don't like to compare people. People want to do that. But if you're going to be, look, I'm not going to be no Nick Homer. I think Jalen Brunson could be more clutch. And if you want to say that helps give him a little bit of an edge, Maybe, but Tyrese Haliburton is damn good, bro. You could be hard pressed to not have him on your team. So, what's your thoughts on Haliburton, bro? You think he is like the next big thing in the NBA?
Well, I always got a long-winded response, man. But in boxing, boxing is styles win fights. That's what they
Right.
say. So I mean, same thing applies for basketball. Styles, you make the team. So I think Brunson is perfect for what we're trying to do. Perfect Tom Thibodeau point guard. Jalen Brunson. Look at the place where Tyrese Haliburton came from. Tyrese was playing pretty good over there in Sacramento, but that
Mhm.
trade that they made with Sacramento, it basically re-energized Fox a little bit. So Fox over there is a good point guard for them, for what they're trying to do. So if they would have chose De'Aaron Fox over Halliburton, I don't think Halliburton would be having the success that he's having now because just the way that they do things over there. So I mean, in Indiana, they have such a free flowing offense. Those guys they have like the point guard, and then they have the four guys out. And they're way out. They're like almost out of bounds. Almost that's how far spread they are on the team. So their offense is wide open for a player like Halliburton, man. So I just think that's what it is, man. But as far as him being a star,
Yeah.
the NBA needs the face of the league, man. So they need like five guys that can really be lead the future, and he's one of them, man. So I'm proud of him. Proud of him. Somebody step up, man. We're just waiting for somebody to do it to do something. He's definitely one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say you're right about that, man. I mean, I just think that, and I'm just saying this real quick, like, you know, Tyrese Halliburton is a lot better than you think. Okay. That's all I'm saying. And I had to learn that firsthand, guys, because I'm a Brunson. I love Brunson. Right. And I was looking, I was like, yo, one of these days, Brunson had dropped 40. And I'm like, you know what I mean? And he was so clutch in the game. I'm like, Halliburton don't do that. You know what I mean? Halliburton don't do that. And then like Brunson has like I don't know how many games of already as a Nick scoring 40 points or more. I think he's got maybe 6 or 7, something like that. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's 5 or 6. I don't know. But so I looked at that and I was like, Halliburton don't be putting up them numbers like that. He puts up assists, yeah. He can score. He got a nice little jumper. But then I went back to 2022 and I looked at them Halliburton numbers. Halliburton was getting busy, yo. I was like, oh damn. I didn't know it was like that. Yo, Halliburton gets busy. Like there was a couple nights I was like, yo, Brunson dropped 40 this week, then he dropped 40 that week. And then I looked at Halliburton. Halliburton dropped 40 this week, then he dropped 40. I was like, come on. I didn't even know Halliburton was scoring like that, man. Yo, so all I'm saying is don't sleep on Halliburton. He is a lot better than you think. So just wanted to throw that out there because I was shocked. I was like, damn, I didn't know he was getting busy like that. So
Yeah, I wasn't a believer in this game either. When he first came
yeah.
into the league, I wasn't. We were talking about drafting guys and stuff. I wasn't talking about Halliburton at all. But I saw him and he played. I think he played for the USA team that summer. So
Uh-huh.
he showed me. I was like, okay, maybe he's better than I think. And then he went to Sacramento. But I mean, like I said, just the style of play from Indiana is perfect for him because he's not playing with nobody either. He's playing with a bunch of bums over there. And that he's successful, winning wise, also for himself stat wise, but winning wise, they're successful over there too. They've been beating the Bucks senseless. The Bucks can't mess with them. You know what I'm saying? So they're a good team.
Right? I
Yeah,
was thinking that too. Yo, they handling the Bucks, bro.
yeah. They won the playing tournament, against the Bucks, didn't they?
And yeah, and then they played the Bucks. I mean, they played the Bucks recently again after that, and they beat the Bucks again. Like they taking care of the Bucks.
Yeah,
I don't
beat the
know,
brakes
y'all.
off the Bucks. It was a tongue twister right there.
Yeah, word. Yeah, man. He's helped turn that team around, bro. Because when you look at them, they not like I'm not trying to downplay them. Um, they're not like anything too crazy, but it's the style of play. Like it fits so well with what he's trying to do. They push the ball, and when they're not pushing the ball in their half court sets, they rain in threes, yo. And he's such a dangerous person himself with his court vision and the way he shoots that he's just getting everybody open, man. They're just cutting. He's passing people open. Yeah, it's nice basketball to watch. I will say that. It's very
It's good
nice
for
to
the
watch.
league too. This is the NBA wrap up, man. This is good for the league.
Yeah,
I'm not thirsty. So, oh man, the Knicks messed up. They should have got Halliburton. Now let Indiana get Halliburton because now we got somebody to play. So now when the playoffs come, it's Indiana versus the Knicks. Before it used to be Reggie Miller versus Ewing and Starks and all that stuff. So we need Indiana to have a Halliburton. You can have Halliburton, cool. We got our Brunson, we got Julius, we got our guys too. So when the playoff time comes, I'm hoping that we can get these rivalries popping again where the teams are like banging with each other and we really, both fan bases are going at each other. I miss those days, man. All this star hunting and stuff like that. That's fun for a certain type of fan, but for guys like us that love the game, we love basketball and stuff. Having Indiana strong is good for us. Let's play some ball, man. You good? Okay, let's see, because we got Brunson. Let's see what's gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen. You know.
right, right, 100%, man. I, yeah, man. I'm with you on that. It's just one of them things. Like they just, oof. They look like a fun, exciting team. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how long. I mean, they definitely don't look like pretenders. I'll say that. Contenders, I don't know yet, but they look like a real team. So I don't think this is just something that's going to go away right now. But we'll
Trades too.
we'll
We
see.
talking about trades and stuff. If
Mhm.
Indiana makes a trade, let's say for instance, nobody wants Levine, but if Levine went to Indiana, that would be kind of crazy. Just the way that they play an open style of basketball. I think that would be good for him if they did that. So if Indiana wants to do something like that, that makes their team stronger. You know what I'm saying? So just got to be careful how the market goes. If a team gets the right player, the Knicks, we're looking for the right player. If another team gets the right player, that might push them ahead too. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But
Yeah, agreed. 100% with you. So, that's like that's a lot of what's happening these days. Everybody keeps talking about Halliburton, but there's some other things that have happened in the NBA. I mean, for example, uh you know there's a guy that I'm not a big fan of. And like, so when Eru brought up the whole thing about DeJounte Murray and his personality and kind of who he is, I'm not a big fan of him either, but he's not on my list that I'm like, you know what, if he makes my Nick team better, I can deal with him. I'll put my thoughts aside for it. But there's guys that I never want to see on the Knicks. You know what I mean? There's guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving that I can never see on the Knicks. Like, I don't know, I might be sick to my stomach. Because they've done so much, right? But shout out to Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Because he's still an incredibly talented NBA player. And he just made NBA history. You know what I mean? He just moved up on the 3-point shooting ladder. I mean, I look, it is still NBA history. I thought he had been a little higher, but I think he is at 30. He just passed Trevor Ariza the other day, and that was at 1605 3-point shots made. And it looks like he's going to be passing Jason Richardson very soon. Like, Jason Richardson is at 1608 in 37th place. So Kyrie's going to pass that within the week. So I mean, yeah, it's an NBA milestone. Kyrie's had an interesting season. He's averaging 22.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists, 1.1 steals, while shooting 46.9% from the field and 39.1% from the 3-point line. As much as I can't stand him, I can't knock the dude is a monster. I mean, he's still an incredible player. So your thoughts on Kyrie, Eru?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kyrie at all, man. The movement. He's a point guard, right? But does he make anybody better? Has he ever made anybody better? That's the issue. He's playing with he played with LeBron. They won a championship. That history is solidified. But he was good being the Robin to Batman, because literally LeBron was freaking Batman, and he was Robin. He got a chance to become Nightwing. One night, two nights or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, LeBron was Batman. So that's what it is there. He played with a lot of great players throughout his career. So I mean, he just more, all the I can't say antics, but just the way he believes in and stuff like that. He don't want you to talk about him, but then he'll talk about stuff to make you talk about him. So he's like a weirdo, So I'm not just not a fan of his, at all. Not a fan
Yeah.
of his.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, he's just he's who he is. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
he's an individual. People don't like me sometimes, for what I say and stuff, man. So it's not up to me for people to to like me or whatever. So same thing with Kyrie. Basketball wise, doing his job playing basketball, he's a good basketball player. But I got a question, like I said, like does he make guys better? Is he a winner? You know what I'm saying? Does he care about he might care about the game, but does he care about what he means to like a particular team or you know, for the for history? I don't know. I'm not sure if he really cares about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. True. I hear you. And that's probably the most truest statement ever. No cap. That is probably very true. Like if you had to start your team right now, I mean, if you're picking between the two, you're probably taking Tyrese. Just saying. I mean, I love Brunson, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one to
Yeah.
not,
I mean, if you
yeah.
started from scratch, yes, but if
Yeah.
most teams are not starting from scratch, so
Right. And
I think
actually, that's a really good point, Eru. Like if you started from scratch, Tyrese is the guy you're going for, no matter what, no question. But if you ready to try to go and make a run, mm, yeah, Brunson might be the guy. Just
yeah.
saying.
Somebody in the chat said something about Levine. I forgot who it was. Zigzag Zigala, he said something about Indiana already don't play defense, so Levine will make them worse. So my thing is, not every fan base or not every team is thinking like the Knicks, where we have to get where we just value that defensive player more than the guy that can make a simple layup. Just shout out to RJ can't make a simple layup, but we want him to be this lockdown defender. As long as he can play defense, then it doesn't matter. But other teams have different philosophies, so for the Indiana
Yeah.
philosophy, yeah, they don't play defense, man, but if it's right in what Levine is doing. So I think it,
Right.
it comes down to fit.
Right.
Mhm.
Um. hmm. I mean, I can't even believe, but this is the NBA show, so I got to be fair. You know what I mean? There's a team out there right now, guys. They're struggling. You know what I mean? They're struggling, and people are talking about them a lot. Like, they got some young guys over there. People were looking at this team last year at like the way they're looking at Orlando and the Nets this year. And they were like, you know what I mean? Uh what's to become of that team? And mm, what the hell? Oh, yeah, weird. It's like
Brooklyn
I
Nets.
guess it still had the same old thing queued up to it. Anyway, the Brooklyn Nets are struggling, folks. And it's funny how time, like, not much time has passed, right? When you think about the trade that happened that Phoenix did to get Mikal Bridges over there, right? Now all of a sudden, you got a team and you're like, well, they got this guy, they got Cam Thomas, they got the other Cam, they've got this guy, they've got Ben Simmons who's hurt once again. But if they had Ben Simmons, what could they do? They got all this promise, right? And so now, like, all of a sudden, Jacques Vaughn can't coach. He's losing the team. Cam Thomas, they've got in his head. He's losing confidence. Now he's not giving them what they were expecting. They've relegated him to the bench. Ben
Man,
Simmons is hurt once again, as I said. Mikal Bridges is struggling. Let me tell you something, man. It's not easy to carry the load night in or night out. Pause. Like Mikal has gone over to Brooklyn. Mikal has gone over to Brooklyn and become the man, right? And in the last year, it looked great. I think at some point he was averaging like 27 points. He had nights where he was dropping 30 plus. But now when you got to do that night in and night out, and you're not used to being in that role, it does take a toll and you got to get comfortable, and other things have to still work in your favor. And if other guys are not helping you, where teams can't like key in on you, last year it's like the scouting report. You only saw Mikal Bridges as a starter who was in a limited role. Now he's a starter and he's the man. So teams had to get the scouting report and get a plan for how they were going to deal with him. And it looks like they've adjusted this year. So he's struggling a lot more. And now all of a sudden people are like, well, maybe you can trade for Mikal Bridges. listen, I'm just gonna be honest right now. I don't really want Mikal Bridges right now. And that's not because I don't want. I think he'd be great for this team, and maybe the Knicks still want him. I just don't like now that we got OG. Now I don't really want Mikal Bridges. Like I don't like it. It seems clunky to me. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't know. What's your thoughts on Brooklyn struggles and the whole Mikal Bridges thing?
Well, when you were talking about karma, the Knicks have done a good job of building up, their collateral, their karma collateral. But the Nets, this whole time, ever since they came from Brooklyn, they've been trying to upstage the Knicks, trying to take over New York City. So I mean, you can't take over New York City unless we say so. You can't just come from another state and then come here and say, "Yeah, we're the kings of New York now, man." Get the, like what are you talking about? You cannot get that crown unless we give it to you. We talking about the fans, so I mean, they basically got what they asked for. They got a moron. That dude, Jock Vaughn. I never seen a coach come on and give a press conference and diss himself. Oh, I'm terrible. Oh, my team is terrible. When I have nobody that's like I never seen anybody do that. So I mean, like I would have fired him immediately. You know, I would have fired him immediately because now here we go. Now basically what Jacques Vaughn is saying is that we need to trade. We need to get some stars here. You know what I'm saying? He just had a bunch of stars. You know what I'm saying? Now he's like, oh, our team is not good. We just need he just gave up. So I just that sits bad for me because looking at their roster, like that's what Tom Thibodeau. I'm not a fan of Tom Thibodeau, but if they had Tom Thibodeau would at least picked 8 to 9 players and he would run them into the ground. You know what I'm saying? So that means I'm just looking at the last box score. I mean, he played everybody. He played the whole team. How could you win playing the whole team? So I mean, Tom Thibodeau would have picked 8 to 9 guys, and then the rest of the guys wouldn't play the rest of the season. And then
Mhm.
and then he would then they probably would be more successful because you can't have a guy like Cam Johnson starting along with Mikal Bridges and Spencer Dinwiddie and Tom, like we were saying, like you were saying on Cam Thomas and all these guys. You can't have these guys in the starting lineup and then start playing around with them, especially Cam Thomas was averaging like 30 at one point, before he got hurt. So
Mhm.
it's a shame what they're doing to these kids over there. So I kind of feel bad for them a little bit. I kind of feel bad for them because now they're in Brooklyn. They actually got fans that live out in Brooklyn. Especially the Asian community that live out there in well, what's the name of the area? Anyway, South Brooklyn, South West Brooklyn. There's a lot
Mhm.
of fans over there that love the Nets. So I feel bad for them too because they have a team that has talent. But they just pissing it away. And it's a shame that now a lot of these guys now are just like nothing. Like I said, now if we wanted to get Mikal Bridges, we probably could get him. In the beginning of the season, there was no shot.
Mhm.
So it's
It's
weird.
crazy, bro. It's crazy how just things happen with time. Like you never know what's good. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But now that we got OG, I just think it's just weird. It's a weird fit. Like, I don't think, and I'm just being honest, just knowing McCall's game. Is McCall a good scorer? Yeah, I think he is. Is he a great shooter? I don't think he is. So, like, I don't like OG, it would be the small forward, right? Like, and you're not going to have McCall coming off the bench, so he's going to start. So that means he's going to be the two guard. And I just don't know if I'm comfortable like getting my two guard shots from Mikal Bridges. I don't think he shoots it that well enough from him to be the two guard, in my opinion.
Right.
But but he definitely would be great on defense. He would give us that weird length thing that Orlando has at tall guys at all types of positions. And maybe that would be the difference. I don't know. Like figure out ways to do stuff to make it work. I
Right.
just don't think it's ideal. But whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you
It
with
is what it
that.
is.
I agree with you. His handle's kind of suspect too. He has like a kind of like a body of a role player, but he is skilled. But I'm over it. We got OG. It's time to look in a different direction as far as trying to build a team. From the Knicks standpoint. So
Right, right.
yeah.
I hear you with that. Just a couple more things, guys. We got to get out of here and get you over to the front stoop. Where we're gonna get into the hip hop bag. Hopefully, some of y'all would like to get into that conversation. Um, um, so I want to take a look at the NBA standings real quick, and let me pull this up just so we kind of know what's going around in the league. Let me share this. Here we go. Uh, Let me pull this down. Give me a second. Boom. All right. So let me see if I can blow that up and make it a little easier to see for you guys. Okay. So here we go. So just looking at the Eastern Conference, once again, we already know this, but just looking, Boston Celtics, 26-7 at the top. They got a 2.5 game lead over Milwaukee, who's 24-10. The damn Philadelphia 76ers, no matter how much you want to hate them, no matter how much you want to write them off in the regular season, they are always there, always at the top. They're just really good in the regular season. 23-10, 3 games back. And then you got a little bit of a bump, right? Miami Heat are in fourth place, 20-14, and 6.5 games back. And the Knicks are at, tied with kind of tied with like 3 other teams, 6, 7, and 8 at 19-15. And then you got Indiana at 19-14, 7 games back. So I mean, that's kind of what you really want to pay attention to is you see how close and jumbled it is, though, when you look at 7-12, if you want to throw Toronto and Chicago in there. Chicago's on their way down, so I'm not thinking about them. Toronto, maybe with the addition of RJ and IQ, maybe they start to win some games here and there that they would normally lose because they were missing some extra firepower. You know what I mean? They got a lot of good players over there still. Brooklyn, they're right now they're in flux. They're having some issues. But it really looks like the 8-1 teams, like somehow those teams are going to be in the mix all season. And even say what you will about Cleveland, all the problems they've had, all the injuries they've had, they still 19-15. Still 19-15. So and then the surprising thing is that middle of the pack right there. Orlando in the 6th spot and Indiana in the 5th spot. What do you think about the East right now, Hero?
Everybody's right on top of each other, man. Just I'm looking at number 4 through 8. They're like if the Knicks win 2 games, we could be the fourth best team in the NBA. You know, just
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it's interesting. Like that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous for like a team like the Pacers to pick up a Levine. Or say like Miami Heat was to pick up Donovan Mitchell. Because we keep talking about us, but there's other teams in the NBA. That are right on our heels. If the Heat get Donovan Mitchell, that's interesting. If Pacers get Levine too at the same trade deadline, that's interesting. So I mean, what can the Knicks do to push their stock up? To be able to compete against teams if they were to do something like that. So I think all these teams here are looking for that little boost to get us over the hump there. Because once once we do that, now you look at the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Celtics, and they don't look so scary.
Right.
So now you're talking about in the playoffs and stuff like that. Everything is up for grabs. So it's exciting, man. It's exciting to look at that. Look at how it could possibly play out.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's just wild. Look at how like wide. I mean, it's wide open, man. A team can get hot and really run crazy.
Yeah.
You just never know. And so that's the Eastern Conference, right? You see how that shakes out, and then you got the West. Let's look at what the West is looking like. Minnesota. Let me see. Is Minnesota still the best? No, Boston has the best record in the league now. So Minnesota kind of lost that. They're 24-9, but they do lead the West. They've got a 1 game lead over Oklahoma, y'all. The Oklahoma City Thunder are second in the West. How crazy is this? The team with all this young talent and like 45,000 number one draft picks still. It's just I mean, I guess this is Sam Presti knows what he's doing. This is how you put it together, man.
Hey, he's a lucky son of a gun, man.
Yeah, right.
Like stockpiling all these picks and all these guys that weren't doing anything. The only person that they kept was SGA all this time. So I mean, lucky bastard.
It's
They
crazy,
finally
bro.
they finally hit jackpot now. So that's good for them.
Yeah, man, it's nuts. I'm just shocked. I mean, don't get me wrong. I expected him to be better and get better every year. I still didn't expect him to be this good this quick. But looking at them when we got to play them firsthand, watching the Knicks versus OKC is a problem, bro.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's defensively. They definitely come on defensively. So the Knicks were in trouble.
yeah,
We couldn't crack their defense at all. So
right,
you know,
right. Although
yeah,
I'd love to play them right now. Oof.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so then you got Denver at 24-11, also one game back. Denver's right there. I mean, Denver's that team. Like with Jokic, I expect Denver to be like this all year. Once we get into the playoffs, I expect Denver to hit a switch and turn it on. Because Jokic just wants to get he cares about winning. Let's get there. Jokic is starting to adopt that playoff mentality that the veteran teams like the Warriors and Miami Heats get. Like the regular season, just want to get through it. Let's get to the playoffs and let me do my thing. So I kind of expect Denver to be like that as well. Then you got the surprising Clippers. Remember when we was laughing at the Clippers like they looked all disjointed? Look at them, 21-12, 3 games back.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic too. They all, kind of like going around Harden. Because Harden is the offense, right? He's the leader. He is the
Hmm.
system. Which is true. So I mean, now they're
It's
playing
true,
off of
man.
him. Yeah, they scored 131 points the other night, man. Everybody's clicking. Everybody. I'm looking at Kawhi with 30. You got Paul George with 33. James Harden had 22. Some of the other guys that weren't playing well, Terrence Mann and like Norman Powell, they were able to contribute offensively a little bit. So I mean, they're a scary team now too. So that's somebody that did you could circle. You gotta definitely get a nap when you play those guys.
Yeah, facts. Then you got Sacramento, which Sacramento is still having a good season. They just don't look as surprising as they did last year because now we see you. But they're 20-13, 4 games back. The weirdest team for me is the New Orleans Pelicans because they got a lot of talent over there. And don't get me wrong, 21-14 and 4 games back is not bad. I just still don't think they're playing as good as they could be playing. Like there's still something missing over there with that team. I don't know. Then you got the I don't this is the Dallas is a weird team, bro. Because Dallas is like they're 20-15, 5 games back. But yet, when I look at this team, I'm like, this team could tank at any minute. Like, they could easily go the opposite way like they did last year. Because last year they started off really good and they started going backsliding towards the end of the season, and affecting our New York Knicks, whatever. Um, then you got the Houston Rockets, who they've rebounded and look like at least they're a competitive team. 17-15. Then Phoenix is 18-16. Phoenix got some issues over there, but some people just say they just all need to get healthy. Once again, they're not healthy. This team can't get healthy. Like they've had, yeah, a lot of games with Durant. They've had a lot of games with Booker. They've had a few games with Booker and Durant. I think they've had 1 or 2 games with Booker. I think it's 1 game with Booker, Durant, and Beal. Now Beal's back. He's played for the last couple games, but Durant's hurt, and it's just Beal and Booker. Like these guys cannot get together, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for them either. The Suns traditionally, outside of getting Barkley, they always do that. They always get like 3 point guards, playing over there. Traditionally, going back, even back when they had Paul Westphal and them guys, even further back like that. They always had like a bunch of guards for no reason, and just a dumb roster that doesn't make any sense. So I don't feel sorry for them. This is right on brand for what they've been doing this whole time. So. Same thing with the Mavericks. This guy, what's his name? The Mavericks, owner. Anyway,
Oh, Mark. Well, I don't even know who the owner is because I thought Mark Cuban sold the team.
yeah, he sold like a majority thing, but he's still like the head
He's
of
a
it. But
minority owner.
yeah, but he's still like the president or something, whatever he
Oh,
whatever
okay. I
whatever he
got you.
decided to take. But the same thing with him. He's just been trying to star, Hunt. He got Luca, and then now he got Kyrie, and he doesn't care about the rest of the roster. So teams like this, like we were talking about the East, and competition and stuff like that, that's great. But then when you got a team like teams on the West where they don't really care about basketball, they're still in that era where we just trying to get as much stars as we can on the team, and we don't care about basketball. We just care about the marquee and all this other stuff, man. So good for them, and good for them that they're having those issues, man, because it's bad for basketball to me.
All
You
right.
know.
Yeah, I hear you. So and then you got the Los Angeles Lakers rounding out the top 10 in the West. Golden State right outside of the top 10 at 16 and 17. And then you got Utah at 16 and 19. And that's pretty. I mean, look at Memphis is at 11 and 23. Now, I do think Memphis is going to kind of get themselves back into the race. They just need a little time to kind of dig out of the hole they got in with Ja being out for 25 games and not having their center. I'm blanking on his name, but you know,
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams, yeah.
Yeah.
So but I think that they'll get back into the mix. It's going to take some time for them.
They need an excavator. You talking about a
Yeah,
shovel, dig themselves out. They need an excavator, man.
yeah, that you ain't lying. That's a nice little hole they put themselves in. So, um, yeah, we'll see how that old thing works out for them. But it's kind of like I I don't know why I don't know this, but is Draymond still out?
Yeah, they just announced today that he's gonna start, getting back with the team,
Okay.
and I don't know about practicing, but just starting to be invited back into the practice facility, that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So he's gonna come back soon. They're transitioning him now. So he should be coming back
Yeah.
soon.
Because that's the thing about Golden State. Like he's their defensive identity, right? In the past, you wouldn't say it's all him. You would give him a lot of the credit for it because he was so active on defense, but you had other guys that were active as well. But guys have gotten older. Like Curry's not the same defender he was. Clay definitely isn't the same defender he was. And they're just starting to really struggle and not having him as the enforcer, holding down the paint area and stuff like that. Yeah, they're in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so that's the NBA standings, man. But before we just get off of this and just bring up the last point, is there anything that you're really surprised about so far this year, whether it be in the East or the West?
No, not really. The West, I anticipated them being pretty even kill straight because I mean, we talk about the East where from 4 to 8 is pretty close. In the
Hmm.
West from one all the way down to down to the Lakers, even the Warriors, they're very close. You let the Warriors go on like a 5 game winning streak and let Timberwolves lose 5 games, and now you're like, okay, so it could flip. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not really surprised too much about that. But just guys like definitely the Thunder surprising. Thunder, Timberwolves, the best in the West. My goodness, even the Knicks, the Knicks still there, the Pacers, the Magic. So I mean, I think the league is in transition now. We're starting to the older, the stars are starting to get older and stuff like that. So not really surprises, but it's just excitement, excitement for certain things, the transition of
Right,
the league.
right. Yeah, it's just definitely things are just different, man. We're starting to see the changing of what we're used to, like the perennial super teams that we expect to be there every year. It's starting to flip. It's starting to flip, bro.
Yeah, it's starting. It's like it kind of reminds me of looking back in history, looking at like the '70s, like how the '70s were. With just a bunch of right. They got World B. Freeze of the world and stuff like that. But
Right,
that's what's happening now. It's not all these teams are so close to each other. Where like the Supersonics when they won, you're talking about Dennis Johnson and those guys. It was just a ragtag team of guys that won a championship. During that time.
right.
So we're waiting for that Magic and that Larry Bird to get drafted to start the next era. So it's interesting.
No, I hear you, man. I understand exactly what you're saying. It's just one of them things where, uh, like whatever you were used to, just got to understand it's just not the same anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm excited for it because it's just gonna take a little while for the NBA to get really. I honestly think they're still kind of devoid of that superstar thing that we all used to get when we think about the NBA. You know, back in the day, that whole and Jordan thing, the Kobe thing, like the Magic, like all these superstar players. Like, I just don't know if I feel that yet right now with the current NBA. Like Anthony Edwards is an incredible player, but I don't know if I can say he's the it guy yet. You know?
Yeah, he's pretty good, but like I said, it just reminds me of the '70s. Those guys, like whatever random player that you could think of it at the time. They were just like the superstar player, kind of thing. He's pretty good, but yeah, it's like that. You're not really too like he's pretty good, but you're not ready to crown him the head of the league and that type of thing. He's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just not yet. Um, but I definitely think that we're going in the direction where there's gonna be some new stuff and some new players that step up and really take over the league.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, this has been a really good show. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and
Well,
watching.
I want to cut you over. You got Ricky Rubio in the title, man. We didn't even
No, no,
mention
no, no.
Rubio.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was the
next.
next thing I'm gonna get to.
Okay, my bad. My bad.
Yeah. No, no, you're fine, man. I appreciate you bringing it up, man, because I definitely wanna talk about it. But like I said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. We do have a little bit of sad news for those out there, those Ricky Rubio fans that are like, oh man, that might be a little devastated. I mean, listen, we look at him a certain way, but I'm sure his people from his country probably look at him like as an ambassador for his country for the league. He is an incredible player. I mean, he definitely, especially in his prime. Um, but Ricky Rubio retires, guys. It's been a nice little run for Ricky Rubio. I could say that maybe it's a little bit unfulfilled potential because they thought he was going to come in and be like Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, and he was damn good. He wasn't bad. He
Yeah.
he had some really special moments. He's changed over the years, and his game has changed, but it was nice to see. I mean, I wasn't happy about it when it happened, but it was nice to see when he lit the Knicks up and with that unconscious scoring that he had against us. We couldn't stop him no matter what we tried when he was with the Cavs. It's just, but it is one of them things where it was kind of, bittersweet because I actually liked part of it. But then when we couldn't stop, I was like, no, no, no.
Stop,
Like, come on,
Greg,
bro.
stop,
Like,
stop.
come on, man.
Please, somebody stop him, please.
I was like, this is crazy, man. What's your thoughts on Ricky Rubio? And listen, just in case you guys don't know, he retired after having a 12-year career in the NBA. So that's a good amount of time to be an NBA player. And so if you want to know, he also dealt with, I mean, because there was points where we didn't see Ricky Rubio. He got hurt at different times. He has battled with injuries, but he also battled mental health. Right. It's a very powerful, very strong thing. And it was something that he was dealing with, and it affected him. So yeah, man. Yeah, but he definitely had a nice little career. And yeah, so my fault, Eru. Your thoughts on Ricky Rubio?
I mean, he was like the theme of this show is like styles win fights. The different we were talking about Halliburton and Brunson and all this other stuff. Minnesota drafted him for no reason.
Mhm.
They drafted him. They have also drafted Johnny Flynn. They had no clue why they drafted him or what were they going to use him for. They didn't try to trade him sooner. Sooner they just kept him on the team and it didn't make any sense. So I mean, you got a guy. I'm looking at his stats. He put up a lot of assists, man. 8, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9. That's some big time assists. Steals too. 2 steals a game for his first couple seasons in the NBA. So I mean, he was pretty good, but he was on the wrong team. He needed to be on the team that was a little bit more open. And then like I mean, on a team like Minnesota where they didn't really have anybody to pass to besides Kevin Love, but they weren't winning. You know what I'm saying? So if he was on a better team, he probably would have averaged like 15 assists per game. So I mean, it's just kind of weird. And another thing about him too, man, that hurts me is that when he was drafted, man, um, when he was is am I correct with these numbers here? Let me see. When was he drafted? He was drafted in '09. Yes. Okay, so my numbers is correct. I was 30 years old when he was drafted, and he's retired now. Oh my god, that means that I am old, bro. That it hurts me so much, man. Because I literally remember when he was a kid. He didn't have the beard or nothing like that. He was a
I
baby.
remember too. So
I
I guess I
remember
feel
him.
just as bad as you, bro.
Yeah, I remember in my mid-20s hearing about this kid that's like 16 years old or whatever, playing professional in Europe, this Rookie Rubio guy. Then he finally comes to the NBA, and now I'm 30, And then now here I am in my 40s and he's retired. Oh my God, what am I doing with my life? You know, it's just like,
Mm,
oh my God, man. So it's
I
kind of
know, bro.
bittersweet a little bit talking about him.
Yeah, yeah. And just to say, he was never a crazy type scorer, guys, if you ever really watched his game, but he was a really incredible facilitator. Like like as Eru was saying, he averaged so many years, 8 assists or 9 assists, but he was flashy with it too. Like he made the flashy passes. He was the Spaniard version of a white chocolate type. So no one could be white chocolate, but he had his own flair. But he also wasn't bad defensively. So that's what made him interesting, right? Because he averaged two steals a game for a few years. Um,
Yeah, you know what I'm
and
looking at too right now? He's never had a winning season in Minnesota. So it was just a big waste of time, him being
Yeah.
over there.
And wasn't he there at the same time that Kevin Love was there?
Yeah, they were losing when he was there.
Crazy. It's crazy. And Kevin Love was an all-star during a lot of those years too. It
Yeah,
was crazy. I don't know. Sometimes, man, got to have the right mix of players and the right system to make it all come together and make it work.
yeah.
But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys coming and tuning into the show. Please smash that like button, show your love. Once again, if you guys don't know, the channel has been demonetized. So please show some love for the Podfather Sim and the NBK network. His Cash App is nothing but Knicks. So if you want to send them a little something, please do. But if in the notes section, say the NBA wrap up sent you over or whatever. Just so he knows, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely appreciate that. And so if you guys are still interested in rocking with us, we're gonna be talking about a little hip hop. So give us about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so, and head over to the front stoop and we'll be talking about some hip hop stuff. So definitely thank you guys. Eru, any final words real quick?
Well, I just put the link to a front stoop in the chat again. So if anybody wants to follow, you can just follow that link in the chat. So as far as the NBA, man, I just love competition, man. I hear fans talking about, oh my God, we gotta play this team on my own. I mean, what are we here for? We here just to be worried about, oh, we can't stop this guy, we can't stop that. We need to get defenders because we're afraid to get taken out by some superstar, man. What happened to the competition? What happened to that? So we need to bring that back and not be afraid of competition and just worry about building our team and having some pride and that type of stuff. That's what I want. I want back with the fan bases out there.
Right, right. And shout out to Craig. Craig is on his on his get at Sim about everything Julius Randle these days. But I will say, just because Randle don't get voted in as a starter for the All-Star game, don't mean he won't be an All-Star. He could still get voted in as a reserve, and he also can get voted in as an injury replacement. We've seen it happen before. So just don't rule it out yet, Craig. Don't think he can't be an all-star because he still can. Same thing with Jalen Brunson, although Brunson's road is even harder. I honestly think when it's all said and done, Julius will be an all-star. Brunson, I could see him getting snubbed because there's Maxey's ahead, Haliburton. There's guys that are gonna get in above him. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Trey Young too. Trey Young's numbers match
Trey Young got snubbed
Haliburton.
last year, I think.
He might end up getting subbed again because of their team record is just not good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Greg too. Greg is actually banned on my channel. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so hello, Greg. Good to see you, but I won't be seeing you on my channel. You talk a little bit too much in the chat sometimes, disrupting people, man. So it is what it is.
Oh man, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's that, guys. Anyway, um, thank you guys for tuning in. Um, I'm not gonna hit the outro because I just think it's too much. Because I'm gonna hit the outro when we go to the front stoop because we just got a lot going on, man. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you on the front stoop in about 5 or 10 minutes. So head on over there. All right, man. We'll catch you in a little bit.
Peace.
Latest.